US ambassador calls on young people to exploit the opportunities that democracy gives. If the government fails to meet your demands, you should reject it. A farmer from Mirdita gives a lecture to the politicians from the Parliament's podium. Turn your heads to the village if you want this country to succeed. Two members of Kosovo's parliament physically clashed during the live transmission of a political program, resulting in one arrest. Kosovo's government condemns the violence. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Saturday, the 30th of September 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. The US Ambassador Donald Liu met with high school students in Rishon, issuing a strong appeal asking them to reject the government if it does not respond to their requests. You live in a democracy. If you demand it, your government must respond, or you will throw them out, the ambassador told the youth. The following is the full message from the US ambassador. Big changes are coming for Albania. You have an important role to play in Albania's future. You must demand change from your leaders. You are young. Your future is in Albania, and Albania's future is in you. I firmly believe Albania will join the European Union in the next decade. All of you, your children and grandchildren, will live as full citizens of Europe with all the rights and privileges of EU membership. This change and many others are coming. Don't miss the opportunity to be part of them. You want good education, good jobs. You are going to demand it. The best thing about your generation is that you are not tied down by the low expectations of this country's communist past. You demand jobs like they have in Germany. You expect laws against corruption like they have in the UK. And you insist on personal freedoms like they have in the US. You live in a democracy. If you demand it, your government must respond, or you will throw them out. For example, at the beginning of the school year, many people, including the opposition, demanded free books for students. This is a small country. It is not a wealthy country, but it is reasonable for citizens to ask that the government provide money to buy books for its students. And when the government tells you it cannot afford it, you need to ask how they are paying for their fancy government buildings, their luxury cars, and their foreign trips. As a democracy, the responsibility and the power lies with you. We look forward to the day when you are the leaders of Albania. We know that your generation will be better than the current generation in leading Albania towards its European future, said the US ambassador. This was the first of a tour of meetings with youth planned by Tirana's US embassy. A plenary session was held today dedicated to the problems of rural development with the aim of finding appropriate solutions for them. Rigerta Loku, a farmer from Mirdita, spoke at what is being called the Rural Plenary Session. The farmer, who has finished her studies in Italy, has constructed a small farm in her town. Speaking for 11 minutes, not as a member of parliament, but as a simple citizen who knows the difficulties and necessities encountered by people from villages nowadays, gave a strong message to politicians, members of parliament, and to all governments, past, present, and future. In an emotional speech, Rigerta described the conditions in villages and outlined what is needed to improve the quality of rural lives. Come to the village, as there is no other place to eat healthily. Come to the village if you want bread, salt, and a good heart. Come to the village if you want tranquility and love, but I warn you not to come with a small vehicle. You need an off-road car, as most villages are not located on the main road axes, and small vehicles simply cannot get there. Villages, especially those located in remote areas, do not have streets. Give roads and water to villages, and you have given them development. We are not asking for anything else, just water, streets, schools, and efficient healthcare centres. If this parliament wants to do something good, each of its members should perform the function they are responsible for. We are asking for collaboration. Let's find solutions together for the rural, urban, and European Albania. We, the villagers, are at your disposal, ended the farmer's speech. She went on to add that the village needs to be reborn, recovered, and that it needs human capital to battle the path of abandonment and to build the path of return. The Minister of Agriculture agreed with some of the problems raised by Rigerta and emphasised that concrete plans are needed for agriculture. Although agriculture is one of the most talked about sectors with the need for reform, the data shows that it has been forgotten. According to the data provided by the National Institute of Statistics, the state budget has allocated only 10.1 billion lek, or less than 0.2% than last year, at a time when investment needs are enormous. In total, agriculture in Albania only accounts for 2% of the budget, despite the industry having a much larger economic contribution. The irrigation and drainage sector, food safety, rural development, agro-industry and fishery management have given the largest portion of contributions to agriculture. Meanwhile, the growth of the agricultural sector this year continues to display limited growth. According to Instat data, agriculture, forestry and fishing increased by 0.13% in the second quarter of this year. Albanian agriculture is facing a range of issues such as land fragmentation, difficulties in finding funds, and high prices of fertilizer and seeds. Two members of Kosovo's parliament have physically clashed during a live transmission of a political program. During the discussions in the studio, the members of two opposition parties began offending each other. The situation continued to escalate, ending up in physical clashes. The intervention of the technical staff was needed to separate the two members of parliament. A spokeswoman for the Kosovo police declared that MP Frasher Krasniqi is in detention following the order by the prosecution. MP Krasniqi was arrested for using violence against the other MP, Malayam Zeka. The government of Kosovo has also reacted to the raucous incident, strongly condemning the use of violence. Meanwhile, MP Zeka said that there is more behind the attack against him than meets the eye and promised to make more information public in the coming days. He accused the chairman of the self-determination movement of being the organizer of the physical attack against him. Tirana's City Hall has started with the construction of a third sports area at the Lake Park. The area will be dedicated to sports professionals and also to citizens who enjoy playing sport. I am very happy that on the eve of Tirana's marathon, we will celebrate the opening of a new sport area in the city. This is an area of the Lake Park where we initially intervened to demolish a large part of the cafes at the Geology Mining University, which is mainly frequented by elite athletes. So, the southern part of the park is most frequented by amateurs, whereas sports teams that do professional training come here. They need this area, and I believe that the replacing of cafes with a sports area is an investment in the right direction for Tirana, Valiai said. Tirana's marathon will be held on October 15, and the mayor called on citizens to register in order to promote a healthy life. I am enthusiastic that we have a high number of registrations for Tirana's marathon. 1,000 foreigners from Africa, Latin America and Europe have registered to participate. This is a great encouragement for those who choose to live in a healthy way in Albania, said the mayor, announcing that the operation to clear the lake park of illegal constructions will continue. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.